Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Stretford Paddock. Nice one, Cam. Excellent. He's kept the volume on the telly. Super start to the day. Yes, everybody, welcome back to the Stretford Paddock for another episode of Paper Talk. We've got a few things to cover today. Going to go straight into it. Make sure to like the video as well. Get your comments in. So, obviously, as you can see by the title of the video, there is more news in the never-ending Paul Pogba scandal. I was going to plug his fantastic David Ornstein podcast. That's Stephen Hesson, by the way, but I don't think I will after that poorly attempted impersonation. But as I said, getting straight into it, Paul Pogba should say never-ending cycle. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? And the first bit of news coming in this morning is from Tuttosport out of Italy, is that Paul Pogba is allegedly open to stay at Manchester United, given the addition of Bruno Fernandes and the possible impending arrival of Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund, which, of course, I think is going to be that transfer that's going to dominate the summer headlines. Is he similar to that of Bruno Fernandes last season as well? But it says here in the report that Pogba has been impressed since the arrival of Bruno Fernandes and with the potential arrival of Jadon Sancho, who's got 17 goals and 18 assists in all competitions for Dortmund this season, by the way. I didn't even realise he'd put up those numbers in all competitions. Fantastic. But according to that, it's swayed Pogba amid interest from Juventus and Real Madrid. This Pogba situation is getting more and more interesting because it'll be interesting to see how much his price has decreased, given the fact he's played, 8 games in all competitions this season. Obviously, he's still recovering post-surgery as well. I mean, I think he's done. I don't think he wants to stay. It's amazing. It still divides opinion. Either there's people who are very much that there's an agenda on Paul Pogba, which at times there is. There's also people who believe that this injury claim is a hoax, and he's just pulling a stunt to not kick a ball for the club. I think we will see Paul Pogba play for United again, though. I think with the Euros coming up, he's going to want to play himself back into that French squad. Obviously, he would be probably the first name on the team sheet, you'd imagine, for the national team. But with the Euros coming up, a lot of depth in that French squad. He'll probably not only want to play to get into that team, but to probably boost his price as well. Juventus and Real Madrid, unless anyone can probably suggest a name in the comments as well, anyone who could actually afford Paul Pogba as well. Look what happens to... Look at the money Real Madrid spent last season. Look how Manchester City have been done by financial fair play. You got to imagine there's going to be a lot of add-ons and complications with a deal like Paul Pogba when you especially consider how much of a brand he is. I don't know. Let me know in the comments anyway what you guys are thinking. Moving on to the next story now. One that if I'd have said at the start of last season, if you would have offered 25 million for Chris Smalling, would you have taken it? I'm sure everyone would have biting your hand off. 25 million for Chris Smalling, but that's allegedly what the Metro are reporting. They're saying Manchester United are willing to take £25 million from Roma for the services of Chris Smalling. Obviously, Smalling, been one of the best centre-backs in Serie A this season, was actually, I believe, voted in Roma's team of the decade by a Twitter poll. So he's been there only been 6 months, 30 years of age now. I think people need to curb it as well. There's a lot of talk of him playing himself into the England squad, which is a possibility. Just given the fact that John Stones has been absolutely horrendous this season. But let's face it, Italian football is very much a different style to that of the Premier League. Chris Smalling was here far too long for his own good. And you know what? Delighted for him that he's flourishing in Italy as well. But this report stating as well that Roma were expecting to be able to strike a deal for less than 20 million. But United are mindful other clubs may be interested in the former Fulham defender. Obviously, as you'd imagine, the report also saying Smalling is keen on extending his stay at the Stadio Olimpico, having forced his way back to the England fold. I believe Gareth Southgate came out yesterday and was apologetic for the comments he had made, I believe, about Smalling's passing ability a few seasons ago after he dropped him from one of the England squads. So obviously Chris Smalling in the mind of Gareth Southgate now, with the Euros just around the corner. So, would you take him back? Would you take Chris Smalling back, or would you cash in on 25 million? Let me know in the comments as well. I would be intrigued. A guy who has technically Serie A is one of the best defensive leagues in the world. Obviously, very defensive-minded football played in Italy. But, I mean, someone made this point to me a few days ago. Gonzalo Higuain's set the Serie A goals record 2 seasons before he came to Chelsea. I mean, came to Chelsea and I think hit something like 5-6 goals in all competitions during a 6-month stay at Chelsea. So, not to diminish the quality or standard of Serie A football. I mean, I'm sure everyone's seen it on Twitter. It's doing the rounds. Jesse Lingard basically subject to what is, I mean, there's no kind of speculation about it. I've seen the video. Racist abuse from fans post derby game. You go on a 9-match and unbeaten run in all competitions, conceding 2 goals, and the fans still seem to blame a guy who hasn't even played in barely any of those games. I think, my opinion personally, I do think Jesse Lingard will leave the club in the summer. I think with the whole hiring of Raiola as representative, or allegedly hiring him as representative, I think speaks volumes. Not alleged, Mr. Howson says he has hired him as his representative, so speaks volumes about a guy who, if he wanted to stay at Man United, has hired public enemy number one, literally public enemy number one, as Raiola has been blasting the club in the media. But yeah, fans calling him shit, calling him a wanker, racist abuse as well, as they were boarding the coach. Just what can you say? You don't really want to give idiots like this, the publicity and the airtime, because I suppose that's kind of what they're craving for. Everyone's entitled to an opinion. I've been a defender of Jesse Lingard on this channel a long time, and a lot of people have disagreed with me, and that's fine. But when it comes to crap like this, just waste of time. No. I'm not even going to continue on that. Let me know in the comments anyway what you guys are thinking about the Paul Pogba situation. Chris Smalling, I saw reading in the report as well about Smalling. United are very conscious about not getting burnt for another defender after they only sold, was it $6 million they got for Johnny Evans when he went to West Brom back in 2014. So very mindful, I'm sure United are, of losing out on a few extra quid. What else? Gibemi, if I'm butchering that pronunciation, I apologise. He says he has no place here at United with the form of both Maguire and Bailly or Lindelof. I mean, you'd expect one of, well, not Harry Maguire, but Eric Bailly staying at the club this summer. I think that hangs in the balance. It's obvious that Ollie... I believe will come down. No. Stephen Howson disagrees with me on that, but that's my opinion on the situation. No. Sorry? Maybe you don't have an opinion. Are you here to talk about facts? He says he's talking facts. So, Champions League football, according to Stephen Howson, does not play into the situation. I'd be interested to see, whether it does or not. Given the fact that Sancho has flourished this season, like I said, 17 goals, 18 assists in all competitions as well. Sam keeps jumping on and off. Cam, why is that? No, just because I'm leaning away from the mic. Fair. Let's see what else we're saying as well. Everyone's saying no sound. Cam out. Don't know. Let's see what we got. Yeah, there's no mic apparently coming through. Let's see. With Lee Grant signing a new deal, this is from Moody Max 63. With Lee Grant signing a new deal and Henderson returning, does that mean De Gea to be sold? I don't think you can read too much into Lee Grant signing that contract extension. I believe it's till next season. He's there to play or plug holes if needs be. I think Dean Henderson, that's one thing I am interested to see this summer. That De Gea obviously dropping another clanger at Goodison Park on Sunday. What people are out there thinking, let me know, would you be a fan of cashing in on De Gea this summer? I mean, we could still probably get something like 50 to 60, maybe 70 million at a push for De Gea? Or do you wait another season with Dean Henderson? A lot of people saying, there's no rush. He'll probably get, in my opinion, I think he has to start for England at the Euros this summer. I don't think Jordan Pickford is anywhere near, shouldn't be anywhere near the England squad. I think, actually, and if someone can debate me on this, Jordan Pickford, definitely in the bottom 3 goalkeepers in the Premier League. I think that's a fair shout. Would you agree? He says maybe. Allegedly, I'd say. Let's see what else we got. Best solution is to loan Henderson out again. We have to keep him. He did sign a new contract before he left. He signed a new contract extension at United before he left for Sheffield United this season. So I don't think there's any danger of Dean Henderson necessarily going anywhere anytime soon. Nick Pope is better than him. I think that's up for debate. I think Nick Pope is definitely one of the most underrated goalkeepers in the league. But I think Dean Henderson, for quite a while now, has set a benchmark for himself and has played himself definitely not only into United contention for next season, but definitely for England contention this summer as well. Fred is the best DM in the league behind Indeed. No, look, we all love Pastor Fred, but I think maybe we do have to remember that there are a few N'Golo Kantés floating about the league who are very good at football as well. But Fred, obviously, fantastic this season. Sky did a graphic yesterday comparing his output compared to last season, and it's so much more progressive, so much more shots on goal, so much more key passes per 90. Fred, I'm so settled in fantastically this season. What else as well? Can't cash in on De Gea when no one can offer his wages. I mean, I'm sure there's someone like PSG, they'd be happy to move on someone like Keylor Navas for someone like David De Gea. I don't think Real Madrid, I think that dream is dead in the water now when they got Courtois and Areola competing for their number 1 spot as well. So I do probably agree that there's probably not a lot of clubs out there who maybe even need someone like David De Gea. A lot of the top clubs now have world-class goalkeepers. Barcelona, Ter Stegen, Real Madrid, Courtois, Atletico, All Black. The list goes on. There's not really many top clubs who can afford those wages who are in need of a keeper. So it is a good point. Well made. Pereira, Lingard, not good enough. Pogba, too much drama, should be sold. I think Pereira, with the addition of Bruno Fernandes, I think it's telling that Pereira has missed out on the last few. Not even on, he missed out on the squad completely. I think it was against Everton, or was it the game before? But definitely Pereira. When you consider he had played more games or more minutes, was it, than any other player for United prior to Christmas, it's a telling sign that he has not played that much post Bruno Fernandes. Charlie Book saying, is Pogba staying on the condition United improve and rebuild the right attitude? I think he'll have another tantrum if we don't start the season with good form. I mean, I don't think he will be here for the new season. I think he's done. I think he's done. We'll see him play again, and we'll probably see Paul Pogba back to his best when he comes back for United, because he is playing himself into contention for that French squad at the Euros, and probably looking to boost his price and his wages for a club coming in the summer as well. Pogba out and Saul Niguez in. Again, I know Stephen Howson's a big Saul fan. Talked about him a lot. It'd be very interesting to see what it would take to get a player who has, I believe, an 8-year contract pinned down to him at Atletico. How could we get that deal done where we just about got a all but sealed Bruno Fernandes deal over the line with days left in the transfer window? But look, we're going to wrap it up there. We are going to be live for, I believe, another podcast later today, a preview going out for the derby. We'll be heading out tomorrow. And of course, we will be doing a watch along on Sunday for the game. I believe kickoff's at about 4:30, so we'll be going live at about 3:30 for team news for the game and review thereafter. Make sure to like the video, and we will see you next time. Cheers.